Hello, everyone, and happy World Youth Skills Day. Today's LinkedIn Live event is brought to you by UNICEF East Asia and Pacific Regional Office, or UNICEF EAPRO, as part of a series uncovering important topics relating to children and young people in the region. I am Miriana Unchanin, Adolescent Skills Consultant at UNICEF EAPRO in Bangkok, and I will be your moderator for today's exciting discussion as we see the potential of navigating the world of work with and for young people. The East Asian Pacific region is home to a vibrant youth force of 285 million adolescent girls and boys ready to drive positive social and economic prosperity. Yet, the journey towards youth empowerment and employment has been rarely straightforward. Across the region, about 160 million young people are not in employment, education, or training, or as we call them as needs. And three-quarters of them are girls and young women. There's a significant gap between skills traditionally taught in schools and those needed for livelihoods, decent work, social impact, and entrepreneurship. And on top of that, social and cultural norms further hinder adolescent girls' access to quality education and skills development opportunities. With this in mind, UNICEF EAPRO envisions a skilled, employed, and empowered girl and youth force, ensuring that every adolescent and young person has the chance to thrive and reach their full potential. Today, we're launching Skilled, Employed, Empowered, or SEE as we call it, aiming to support UNICEF country offices in providing young people pathways to success. SEE focuses on three main pillars. First, life skills for employability. Second, a skilled and empowered girl force. And third, green skills for green jobs. You may know more about C in the link shared in the chat. Sharing their perspectives on C, I am joined by three panelists coming from different parts of the region. I'm happy to be joined by two members of our regional Young People's Action Team, Niyet Penkit Florence and Andy Reza Zulkarnain. An adolescent girl from Myanmar, Florence is a dedicated volunteer with the Earth Prize, where she has conducted research and developed educational tools to enhance environmental literacy and supported initiatives addressing the needs of refugee communities. She also serves as EGIS Scholars Program mentee, fostering academic excellence among young women in STEM fields, with a focus on innovative approaches to renewable energy generation to sewage treatment. Also a member of the Young People's Action Team is Reza, who serves as the chairman of the 21st Century Skills House, dedicated to enhancing skills quality for vulnerable children and young people. From Indonesia, he not only harnesses participants' ideas, but also inspires them to return to school, paving the way for further education. In addition to that, through his engagement with UNICEF Indonesia, Reza acts as a facilitator and a trainer of the Adolescent Kit program, innovatively implementing skills development initiatives for young people across Indonesia. And last but certainly not the least, we have Mr. Eugene Ho. Eugene is a seasoned leader in corporate affairs and social sustainability, with 2 decades of IT sector experience. As the Global Director of Future Skills and a senior member of Global CSR leadership at SAP, he has significantly contributed to accelerating social businesses and building future skills among young people. Through his work, Eugene collaborates with various internationally with various stakeholders, including UNICEF, to enable young people's access to skills and job opportunities in the digital and green economy. So without further ado, let's get started with the discussion. My first question goes to Reza. As a young person from rural Indonesia, what helped you in shaping your career choice and aspirations?
Okay, thank you, Jenna, for your question. But before answering your question, let me share my personal story. So, when I was a child, especially in elementary school and early school in junior high school, I just always dreaming to be a doctor because at that time I think doctor is really cool to helping people to working with humanitarian fields, and many children who are growing up in rural area Indonesia think the same as me. So uh, I realized that my knowledge of different professions as well as career choices was quite limited for us. And we just well known with the familiar jobs like army, nurse, police, and not really explore many job possibilities. So the things that really helped me to shape my aspiration is about when I in junior high school, because of the environments that they offer. The school offered both academic and non-academic. It's really supportive, and it's also provide me with many of mentorship opportunities. So from senior high school until now, those people who are always with me have been crucial in helping me to discover my career aspiration as well as my career path. So the teachers who also helped me to beyond the curriculum and to foster my 21st century skills such as like critical think, communication, leadership, and they provide me with insight from the also provide me insight from the seniors. They facilitate me meet the mentors and peers about the opportunities, about the expertises that could lead me towards my desired career path. They also provide me with mentorship sessions, mentorship program that based on the based on my needs, and they give me the feedback from the expertises and experiences that allowing me to make adjustment and improvements along the way. And moreover, my schools basically have strong support to for student to achieve the achievements. It was really instrumental in shaping my career aspirations and career choices, and significantly boosting my confidence. Beyond education, I think my involvement with the Children Forum, it's a platform to spread our voices related to the problems that we're facing in our community. With another youth organizations, it's also pivotal role to guiding me to know better about my career and my aspirations. So through this forum, I learned extensively from my peers about the achievements, about the experiences, about the challenge that they overcome with. So it's also inspired me to strive for similar accomplishment, even bigger, even better. So it's also exposed me with various professions like also known with UN, so particular in social and economical and humanitarian fields. That's also lead me to know and engage with UNICEF Indonesia, which is in 2022. I was selected as facilitator and trainer for adolescent kid program that also you mentioned before. It's basically a collaboration between a local NGO in Makassar, where I currently residents, and UNICEF Indonesia. So this program aims to equip the out of the school children with 21st century skills and empower them to design and implement programs based on their needs, based on their ideas. So after that, we integrate them to formal and informal education pathways. So I learned many things about job opportunities, about my passion from this my involvement with UNICEF. And I think these experiences not only confirm my career path, but also open many doors opportunities from part-time, freelance, and many job opportunities that I've been through with private sector and also governmental institutions. So through this, my involvement with mentors, peers, and any kinds of mentorship program that I've have been taken with my peers and mentors, alongside Children Forum, youth organizations, and UNICEF, I decided to pursue my career in social worker and focusing on advocating for children's rights as well as human development. So Bef- uh, so I will know myself better because of my involvement with UNICEF and also many of mentorship opportunities that I've been taken. Thank you, Jenna. I think that's all.
Thank you so much for sharing such an inspiring journey with us, Reza. And we're happy to know that we've contributed in any way possible on how you've shaped your career path as of now. Your story definitely highlights how a supportive environment, maybe in school and family, as well as access to mentorship and opportunities for involvement with other youth organizations, can really shape one's career aspirations. And it's a powerful reminder for the people that are listening to us right now that these are spaces that are important as well to be provided for young people so that they could access diverse opportunities, pathways, and guidance to help them unlock and discover more about themselves and pursue passions that matter to them. So now over to Florence. As a young woman from Myanmar, what skills helped you the most in your transition to the world of work? Over to you, Florence.
Thank you very much, Shanna. As a young woman from Myanmar, I believe digital skills, critical thinking skills, and adaptability have been a key role for my transition from schools into the field of works. My very first official job was being a volunteer teacher, hosting virtual English conversation club for Ukrainian refugee children, and this was right after COVID-19, and so I didn't have any experience at all, and it was a stumbling. I stumbled across a call of volunteers on a page called volunteermatch.com, and this is an amazing page for beginners like me. But because I had no experience and I didn't know how to apply and how to write resume and things like that, the very first step of applying was already a struggle for me, especially when I had no mentor or guidance or anything like that. But thanks to the digital skills that I learned over the year, I could find help and resources and tips online. The access to online learning platforms like edX, Coursera have been very helpful in developing the life skills and abilities. Of course, constantly enrolling in these courses, workshops, and internship can be quite exhausting, but it's keeps things makes things interesting and boosts my self confidence. And once I got the position, I began crafting the curriculums and lesson plans focused on fun educationals and science related contexts like environment, physics, space, and chemistry, but also adding the civic engagement aspect for the children. I wanted my time with them both educational but also fun as well. But because I was the sole adult responsible for them, I felt a lot of pressures and unsure about myself. But every class, seeing the children enthusiasm really reassured me that I could handle the possibility, responsibility, and I was doing the right thing. And after that, I decided to venture over the advocating for quality educations. And other challenges that I faced, especially as a young woman in workplace, was dealing with the gender-based assumption about my capabilities. One particular moment was during an on-site event as a volunteer, and that time my team leader assigned physical tasks for us, and she assigned all physical tasks for the male members without consulting everyone. And I realized that I needed to voice my interest and preference without holding back. So over time, I built confidence in my ability and wasn't afraid to do tasks outside my usual scope. As a young woman, I think that being clear of what you want to do and what you don't want to do and what you're willing to do helps in maintaining the respect and fairness in the workplace. So over in summary, I believe that critical thinking skills, adaptability and negotiation skills, and of course digital skills are very essential in navigating the challenges of entering the workforce. And by actively seeking opportunities for growth and overcoming the barrier, especially the gender-based one, I've been able to build a strong foundation for my career. Thank you very much, Joanne. I'll give it back to you.
Thank you so much, Florence, for sharing your honest experiences with us, from creating your first resume to finding volunteer opportunities online and overcoming gender-based assumptions and stereotypes. It shows how persistence and your resourcefulness became your strengths. You've shown us also how critical thinking, digital skills, and adaptability have been critical for you to move forward as well as you unfold your journey to the world of work, but then also not being afraid to step out of your comfort zone. These are spaces that are not really cut out and provided to you in a silver platter, but you were able to find ways to navigate through them. This underscores the importance, definitely, of life skills and continuous learning as you navigate through it. So now that we've heard from the perspectives of our two young people, I'm very curious to hear your thoughts, Eugene, particularly as the digital world continues to evolve and climate change intensifies. What would be your key advice for young people in the region hoping to find decent work?
Sure. Thanks, Yana, and thanks to UNICEF for having me. Really very inspiring to hear from two youths on today's session. I've had the opportunity to mentor youths all over the world, and have also ran digital initiatives, again, all over the world as it pertains to youth skilling. And I think that based on my experience, there's really four things that I want to share with everyone, right? And I call it the four P's, if you will. And the first thing or rather, let me just share what the four P's are, in my opinion. The first is purpose. The second is being personal. And the third is people. And the fourth is platform. So let me unpack it a little bit. So when it comes to purpose, I think what's important for the youth is to find your inner purpose, right? And then to align it with your learning and development. For example, bringing yourself to tech and basically having um, that motivation, if you will, and think about what are the strengths that you have and how could you contribute to the technology development or even for green development, if you will. So aligning that purpose and that development makes that journey a lot easier because then you love what you do. Then the second is personal. So what do I mean by being personal? It's about taking accountability for your own development, right? At the end of the day, there's only so much we can do. We can provide the platform, we can provide the training content, but you can bring the horse to the water, but then you need the horse to actually drink the water. You can't force the horse to drink the water, if you will. So being personal as well is that you should not take advice at face value. You sometimes need to validate it, especially when we talk about macro trends, right? You need to validate that these macro trends is applicable in your local context. That when we say that AI skills right now is up and coming and is important, but double click on that or double check on that in terms of employment locally, whether it is indeed a required skill at this moment in time, or do they have other skills, right? Other more fundamental skills that they are looking to hire at this moment in time, so that you can then match your skill sets, right, with what's in demand in your local context. Third is people. You are not alone in this journey, right? You have to engage with your employers in different settings. You need to engage with your peers who can support you and provide you with nuggets of information or connect you to opportunities as they come by. And of course, last but not least, engage with, if you could, find a mentor who can then guide you through that process. So engage with people. Last but not least, it's platforms, right? There are many, many, many platforms out there, right? Think about the massive open online courses, be it May, Get Smarter, Coursera, SAP. We have our own platform, learning.sap.com, which offers all the learning material absolutely for free, right? So leverage those platforms. UNICEF has their own platforms as well. In Africa, there is the Youth Marketplace Agency, which is YOMA for short. In Brazil, there's the Umio platform. In India, there is UA. And all these platforms basically does one thing, and that is to be an aggregator of opportunities, so that it's a one-stop shop, if you will, for youths to go onto the platform, to understand different pathways that's available for them, from education to employment or education to entrepreneurship, right? So leverage those platforms to improve yourself and connect to opportunities. Back over to you, Yana.
Thank you so much for that comprehensive response, Eugene, and for giving us the 4 points: purpose, personal, people, and platform. I think this is something that our listeners could also learn from. I personally like finding your inner purpose. It does take a little bit of time to unpack this, but I do see that all these four pieces come together one shape or another. But opportunities really fall once you're presented with them through the platforms that you've mentioned. But we also need to think about those that don't have access to these opportunities as well. So, how do we reach them? How do we make it more appropriate for them? May it be girl centered or girl focused activities and what have you. So, Florence, over to you. As you've mentioned earlier, transitioning to school to work can be very challenging, and developing life skills is also very challenging. Um, How do you think educational institutions, formal and non formal, as well as private sector players like SAP, can better prepare adolescent girls and young women like yourself with critical skills for employability? Over to you, Florence.
Thank you again, Jana. As I mentioned earlier, transitioning from schools to work and developing these skills can be really challenging for adults and girls and women, especially when schools and educational institutions do not support them or do not have the sufficient resources for them. So I believe that private sectors and schools should create programs specifically for women and addressing these unique challenges. These programs should focus on breaking the social and cultural norms and stereotypes that limit their potential. For instance, having programs such as that focus on STEAM subject and leadership roles for girls can help break down the stereotype that certain careers, especially in STEAM field, are more suitable for men. And another suggestion is to ensure that girls and women have equal opportunity to pursue the career that they want. And this is not just for fair access to education, but also internships, scholarships, and mentorships as well, which are often skewed towards male students. For instance, in my country, the criteria that educational institutions, especially in higher education, that hold for boys and girls are very different. If a boy can get into a top university for, let's say, medicine, for with 500 marks, a girls have to get at least 530 or even 550 to get into the same university with the same major. And also, institutions and companies should also actively work to eliminate the gender bias in their recruitment process and training process as well. Development of soft skills such as communication, critical thinking, problem solving are very important in this 21st century. And with AI getting popular and widespread in all fields, digital skills and tech skills are very important too. So schools and private organizations should prioritize the development of these skills and integrate them into the curriculum or training process, be it formal or not informal. Private sectors in educational institutions in East Asian Pacific region should create the computer literacy class or coding workshop, as these are not useful in just software development, but also in all fields and all careers. Access to online learning platforms is also important because without access to technology and resources, even if we do have the skills and the knowledge, we won't be able to use these in real life. And last point that I would like to make is for government and company to advocate for policy that promote gender equality in the workplace. These include addressing the discriminatory practices and ensure that young women have the same right and opportunity as their male counterparts. This policy and the program should be co-created with girls and young women, taking our experiences and our reality, ensuring that this intervention is truly responsive to our unique needs. I think that's all, Tana. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Florence. And I truly resonate with your call to action on co creating programs with the girls and with the young women themselves to address the unique challenges that they face. Because that's the only way that we'll be able to empower them, but at the same time, break down the barriers that hinder their access to these opportunities. Similarly, you've also highlighted how interventions are basically not a one size fits all intervention, right? It's not something that you can just plug and play and assume that that young people would have equal access to them. There are other factors that come to play with it, similar to how the four Ps that Eugene have highlighted earlier, but also partnerships play a critical role in this, and how at the personal level we have mentorships, and on a bigger level we have multi-partner, multi-stakeholder partnerships or public-private youth partnerships and what have you. So let me turn over to Reza. How do you think access to mentorship opportunities help bridge skills gap and enhance career growth for young people in our region?
Okay, thank you, Jenna, for the opportunity. So basically, I think based on experiences, access to mentorship opportunities is a key factor to bridging skills gaps between the those people that doesn't have access to education. Also, it will be enhancing the career growth for us as a youth. So youth, as we know that youth are a homogeneous group. We are diverse. We are needs based on our individual needs. So mentorship plays a crucial role in reducing also in social and economic disparities by providing them access to all youth, and including those in marginalized groups. And By mentorship, we can ensure that social inclusion, because mentorship can empower voices from all the youth that maybe they least heard, and ensure that diverse perspectives are represented in development discussion. And I think access to mentorships can bridge skills gaps and enhancing career growth. By a mentor can give the mentees guidance and directions, because mentor help young people to navigate their career paths by sharing their knowledge, their expertise, their experiences. Then they can help young people to develop the short term and long term career paths, career plans. So by setting and also it's will be help young people to setting realistic goals. And mentors also can assist in identifying potential career paths that really relevant with the youth. And by assessing the strength, weakness, potential, opportunity, and threats, so young people can really inform about themselves. And the mentors also can have guidance is and helping young people to understand in industry needs, understood trends, and the required skills that are really relevant nowadays, and the potential career paths that young people can take in. So by giving mentorship also can give opportunities for young people to networking and connections, because as we know that mentors maybe have the extensive networks that we build that will be connecting young people to the professionals network. Mentors also can facilitate the access to opportunity such as like internships, job shadowing, and also networking events. So they can access connection and significantly enhance their career perspective and open doors to new possibilities that I also have been through. So to strengthen these networks, incorporating intergenerational dialects also can bolster young people programs and career to fostering the mutual understanding and also collaboration between and across the groups. And also, I think mentorships can also have pivotal role to personal and professional growth, because beyond the technical skills that I mentioned before, mentorship also can promote the youth personal growth by installing values such as responsibility, integrity, and many more that a mentor often can serve as our role model. So we can as a young people we can inspire by our mentor and to strive for excellences and contribute positively to our community. So overall, I think access to mentorship opportunities tailored to specially tailored to specific needs for youth not only address the gaps, but also can cultivate the supportive environments to young people about continuous learning and career advancement for young people in our region, especially in our region. And it's play a pivotal role in shaping the next generations and of skill professionals, and we can contribute effectively and actively to workforce and our society as well. And I think that all. Over to you, Jenna.
Thank you so much, Reza. Thank you for highlighting the crucial role of mentorship and career guidance in bridging skills gaps and enhancing career growth. But at the same time, having tailored mentorship, having it respond to the diversity of young people, as you mentioned, we are not a homogenous group. And the importance of it being at the personal, but also at the professional level, are very insightful. Mentorship not only provides young people with the skills and knowledge they need to thrive in the world of work, but as you've mentioned, it opens networks and further opportunities. I am a firm believer of the power of mentorship, particularly as it gives one guidance to see pathways of opportunities at a different level, but also as this gives the mentor a glimpse and an opportunity to learn from young people like ourselves, fostering that intergenerational dialogue and partnerships that make things a lot better. So, Eugene, partnerships seem to be a common thread in the past 30 minutes that we have been in discussion. So, I'm very curious to know, in your opinion, how can private sector players like SAP be more involved in partnering with and for young people to boost their equal access to opportunities and unlock pathways for employability?
For
Over
sure.
to you.
So let me just do a bit of sharing. SAP's purpose is to help the world run better and improve people's lives. And in service to that purpose, we have partnered with UNICEF over the last 5 years to impact millions of youths in Vietnam, in Turkey, in India, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, the Philippines, the Ukraine, and more, if you will. And the reason for that is because together with UNICEF, we have a bigger reach, and then we're targeting pretty much the same audience. And if you think about it, we are better together. Hence, public private partnership is very, very important. Every stakeholder brings unique contributions to the program. And together, we can create very, very synergistic outcome, if you will, than we could doing it alone. I fully agree with what Reza has shared with regards to mentorship. It is important, and corporates having all the rich skills and knowledge in our employee base will be well placed, right, to provide these mentorships to youths. And I think what is also important that is that when the corporates develop programs for youths, especially in for the to prepare their competency for the digital economy or the green economy, it's important to not just provide the skills, but to also provide the knowledge, the attitudes, and values. Right. So, for example, if we all say that artificial intelligence is important, and we want to equip the next generation with this skill set, right? It's not enough to just teach them an AI skill. You've got to help them understand what it is, that is knowledge, but also to help them understand ethics in AI as they go about leveraging AI tools in their day-to-day work, right? So hence the attitudes and the values is important. And I'll also add that it is very, very important to involve youth in your policy making, in hiring, involve youth, if you will, as you design new programs and intervention for them. Because at the end of the day, they are the recipients of your program, getting their input into the programming and how they will actually absorb the learning material and the circumstances that they have, because in every country is very difficult. You may be sitting here thinking that, all right, I design an online program, but then they could be somewhere a bit more rural with very poor connectivity. And those are the feedback that you can only get from the beneficiaries that you're trying to serve, if you will. So that would be my input as to how private sector partners could come in, and we indeed can play a big role here. Jana, back over to you.
Thank you so much, Eugene, for your response. And I think it's a perfect way of putting the different elements that we currently have in this call with a call to action of working hand in hand, really, with various stakeholders who have unique value additions to put at the table. And more importantly, working with young people in designing these programs, as ultimately it's their lives that get affected by it. So your emphasis also on the importance of competencies, knowledge, attitudes, and values, and the need to remain human-centric in our work, particularly as we leverage technologies like artificial intelligence, which is currently the buzzword. We don't know what it would be in the next few years. Is truly important. So this advice not only prepares young people for the jobs of today, but also of tomorrow, but also is a reminder to our listeners that our work should remain ethical and centered on the human itself, on the young person that we're doing our jobs for. So I think we still have a little bit of time, and I would like to ask one last question to all of my panelists. In one sentence, just one sentence, what advice would you give your younger self as you prepare to enter the world of work? I think I'll go first with Eugene.
Sure. So the one sentence, or rather advice I would give to myself would be enjoy the journey and make the best of every opportunity.
Thank you so much, Eugene. I think that's something that I would tell my younger self too. Over to you, Reza and Florence.
Oh, for me, if you're raising in your children era, don't be afraid and find your big why you want to be, because it's really helpful to live with purposes. Yeah, I think that's all for my advice.
Thank you, Reza. And Florence, over to you.
I believe I would tell my younger self to try out every opportunities that you have on your hands. They can be really beneficial and will teach you a lot of skills. And the worst they can say is no, so just try it out everything.
That's a perfect way of putting it. Like, yeah, the worst thing that they could say is no, but then at least you did not say no to yourself. I think that's something also that I would tell myself, and not be afraid to take that jump and that opportunity. So I think that's it for today's discussion. And thank you so much for all of our panelists for sharing your valuable insights and experiences today. We have heard some inspiring stories and practical advice on how to navigate the world of work in East Asia and the Pacific region. In less than 40 minutes, we have explored the importance of mentorship and the role of educational institutions as well as the private sector in putting this together, and how we could develop further the critical life skills of young people for today and tomorrow. We also have highlighted the challenges faced by young women and the need for tailored, girl centered, girl focused programs that break down social and cultural barriers. As we conclude, I really want to reiterate the significance of partnerships across various stakeholders, may it be in government, in the academe, in private sector, particularly with and for young people, in creating their pathways to success. It is through these partnerships that youth-focused, youth-centric development, with young people having the seat at the table, co-creating, co-designing, and co-implementing programs from the inception phase up to the monitoring and evaluation, that we ensure a skilled, employed, and empowered youth force ready to drive positive change in our society. So, thank you all for joining us in celebrating World Youth Skills Day, and let us continue to see the potential in every adolescent and young person and work together to build a brighter and more inclusive future in the region. Please check the link in the chat for more information about the C initiative. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye bye. Thank you.